John Hanlon has a blog. He's all on top of what's happening in the world of technology. He's here to talk about the latest smartphones, maybe some tablets too. And John, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you again, Gordy.
So you brought with you today a Samsung Galaxy S4.
Yes, I have it right here.
Okay, now what's the big deal about this phone? This is the hottest phone ever, right?
Yes, it is. At least for the most popular phone of the year, it's probably going to end up. And a lot of people may be familiar with the S3, which was last year's kind of most popular Android phone of the year. Well, this is the next version to that. And it's already breaking sales records. It's available on all the major carriers. They've sold 20 million.
Wow.
Just in the 2 months since it first came out.
Why do people like this so much?
There's a lot of good features to it. You can see it's got a really big 5-inch full 1080 HD screen. So the screen is really, really good. It's actually better than the iPhone Retina display, which Apple touts a lot. But this screen's even better, and it's much larger too, 5 inches. A lot of people like that. The phone is really thin. It has a really, really good camera. CNET did a test actually of all the top smartphones on the market right now, and they found that this camera under almost any circumstances was the best camera on any phone. There was another test done with battery life, a similar test of all the major smartphones, and they found that this has the best battery life, the fastest speed. So it's really the top phone on the market right now. It's just the flagship device from Samsung.
So what phone is it I mean, if you were going to compare it to other phones or maybe in the same price range, you're shopping for a new phone, this would be up against what?
Well, the iPhone is probably the big competitor, and everybody compares everything to the iPhone. It's Apple's #1 device, the only phone they make, so everything kind of gets compared to the iPhone. But again, for me, you've got to, if you're looking at this phone, you're comparing it to others. You've got to look at it's not just the physical appearance and the specs of it, how fast it runs. It also is the interface, and whether you like the interface, whether you like something like the iPhone better. So you definitely need to take that into consideration. I personally like Android better, but a lot of people like the iPhone. But the iPhone is the big competitor to this phone, and they're very different, Android and iPhone. There's a lot of big differences in there. One thing I like that Samsung's really done good with this phone is you can see here at the bottom of the screen there's all these shortcuts. So they kind of use the lock screen area really well. So I can pull up, turn it back on there, I can pull up the Facebook icon and it opens right there to Facebook, and it just saves me a minute of having to go in and find the Facebook app and open it up. So that I think is really nice that they use the lock screen really well, where with the iPhone and other phones it's just a bunch of blank area and you just pull across to unlock it.
I see. How does this compare with Windows phones? Yeah,
Windows phones are out there. Right now, people are still, there's not a lot of applications in the market for the Windows Phone series of phones. So they're still lagging behind. It's definitely Android and iOS, the iPhone, that are up there in the top 2 spots.
So this is hot this year. How long will this stay hot before the next thing bumps this off? Do they already have a new model in the works? Or?
I'm sure they're always working on something new, and with Android, it's a lot different actually than the iPhone. With the iPhone, Apple just releases one phone every year, and it's the iPhone or whatever the next version of the iPhone is. With Android, you've got all these different carriers and manufacturers, and Samsung, HTC, Motorola, different manufacturers that are constantly coming out with new Android phones. So this is the top phone for now. It has been for a couple months. It probably will be for the next 3 or 4 months, but it doesn't last long. It certainly will be, something better will be out in probably the next 6 months. But this will probably end up the top Android phone of the year. And like I mentioned, it's breaking records. It's the fastest selling Android phone. They actually sell about 228 per minute.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now, we got a little bit of time left, so what's your take on the latest tablets? Can you give us the overview on that?
Yeah, well, Android tablets, again, it's the same as the smartphones. You've got iOS, the iPad, and the iPad mini now, and you've got Android tablets. Those are still the top 2, basically, same thing as with the smartphones. And Android is still, I think, lagging a little bit behind. Again, it's kind of what the Windows Phone problem is with smartphones. They just don't have as many tablet applications in the Android market and store as the iPad. But again, if you like the Android feel, and people really need to try these out. I can talk forever about them, but if you don't try them out and see what you prefer, I think that's your best bet going forward. But the iPad's kind of still it is still the top tablet. It's been the top tablet since it first came out. But their Android tablets are getting better all the time, and more tablet apps are coming out.
And when are you going to get a Google Glass thing? When am I going to have? When am I going to be walking around with goggles? Like
as soon as I get one, I'll come back here on Experience Michiana to talk about it.
Very good, John. Always good to see you. Thanks for keeping us updated. And if people want to get a hold of you, Facebook page?
jhanlon.net. That actually takes you to my website / Facebook page where I post everything up to.
Very good. We'll have a link to it at our Facebook page. Thanks for coming in, John.
Great. Thanks, Gordy.
We'll be right back right after this.